Hey everybody, back at it again with another master set for you. This one is Paldean Fates. We actually acquired this one from the same collector that we got the 151 collection from. So you kind of notice that the layout and overall orientation is very similar. Similar in the fact that it's different. So we're not going directly by card number. There is kind of some theming, and we'll kind of walk through that as we go through. For the first page, you wanted to start with the new Scarlet and Violet starters, which is always cool to see. And this is the shiny versions as well. So something really cool about the Paldean Fates is that this was not the first set, obviously, but we kind of got like a shiny version of a majority of the Pokemon throughout the entire set. And it's really cool the way that he's decided to lay that out here for us. So as we go through for all of the kind of the base cards, we're going to have the common, we're going to have the reverse holo. If there was a holographic, so I think he got a little mixed up when he was putting those together. Those mostly wound up, on PokémonData.io. If you're using that to kind of plot out your collections, the regular holos aren't listed. So you'll have the regular common card, you'll have the reverse holo. And then as you're going through collecting, you start to find like, oh, there's actually holos of certain cards. And Pokédata just is not the best for making that clear up front. So I know that he has gone through any card that had a holo, should have it either, I think it's in front of the common card in that set. So with that in mind, we'll kind of run through. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on a particular page unless there's like a specific call out or something I really want to kind of bring some additional attention to. Gotta love Pikachu, chilling over here. I like that they've started to incorporate, like every card has its own art, but that same kind of like slice of life, like we were talking about with the 151 master set, they're incorporating into a lot of the art into these more recent sets. It's not necessarily just the Pokemon T-posing in a particular direction. You do still get some of that, but for Ralts, obviously he's in front of the Academy here, looking around, just awestruck. Curlia's kind of dancing around. There's a little bit more going on. I really like how Execute's kind of huddled along, walking on here. And so these are all of kind of the base cards, and like I said, later he's kind of separated to where we have all these, and we're obviously kind of going through by type, but then we'll get into all of the shinies, and it looks really, really clean the way that he put all of that together. I really like the art on the Haunter and Gengar here. It's not really matching with the Ghastly. Like Ghastly is just very kind of subdued colors. The Haunter and the Gengar just really pop here, which is cool to see. Yeah, Paldean Fates has been another really, really popular set. And kind of one of the first that I think blew up. So Surging Sparks got super popular. People started doing all their pre-orders for Prismatic Evolutions. And then before you know it, a bunch of older sets started getting bought up left and right. And Paldean Fates was one of the first ones that I saw kind of disappear and get eaten up by the markets. It was interesting to see, the selectiveness there. I think a big part of it is, the overall value of the sets, how many cards are in the sets. That's always going to drive demand and ultimately drive the market pricing. Once we get through all the trainers here, this is where we start getting into all the shiny. Now this is, probably an exception to the, being okay with that T-posing kind of characteristic. And even here, they're not really doing that. They're all doing something, generally kind of elated in some way or another. But you'll get to see the shiny version of that Pokemon, and then I like that they all have the same kind of matching background, where it's silver, shining, we've got stars, we've got, kind of sprites coming off. Just like when you encounter them in the games where they kind of shine and actually shimmers, like your cue that hey, this is actually a shiny you're dealing with. I really love that they chose to do this with this set. Like the shiny Entei. And then, I guess as a call out to you, we've got the Charmander, Charmeleon. We've got the special illustration rare that we're going to hit on here in a minute, but we just go back for a second. So you'll see even like the common card, the Charizard EX normally is orange. So that's not the shiny version. But you'll see with the illustration, I think the illustration, I don't want to skip too far ahead. But you'll see that he's shiny ultimately as well, which I think is a nice touch. Just kind of hanging with that consistency. Even though it looks just like all the rest of the cards, the Pikachu is actually probably one of the pricier cards from this set. I don't know what the current market value is off the top of my head. Prices have been fluctuated insanely. I think this is actually doubled in price even just since we picked it up. But I know that is definitely a chase card for a lot of people. The pink shiny Pachirisu for any pink fans out there. I know my wife loves just the color pink in general and likes a lot of the pink Pokemon. So as soon as she found out that so many of them have kind of pink shiny color variations, of course she had to start hunting after the pink Ampharos, kind of build up that collection. It's interesting too with the theming with some of the shiny Pokemon, because like you'd think it would be a little bit more consistently, if this then that, but that's really not how they follow or have kind of set the shiny coloration over the years. Some of them don't seem to necessarily have a rhyme or reason, and a handful, like Gengar is a good example where the shiny looks practically identical to the regular form. Got our blue shiny Ditto over here. Or some of the shinies just kind of look like a muted color of the regular card. Then we get into all of our illustration rares. And this is where we have the shiny Charizard. And then you'll see with the special illustration rare at the end, he's also shiny as well. I like too that they included the promos from this set, and they kind of found good fitting places to plug those in. So that one's at the end of, this was the promo card that you got from the Paldean Fates ETB. So they included that at the end of all the illustration rares. And we've got all of our trainers. I know there's a lot of people that hunt the trainer cards out here. I really like the artwork for Clive, too. This is really like every, I think, all of Team Star from the game as well. In kind of Animal Crossing style. Like if there was an Animal Crossing and Pokemon crossover, it'd be pretty cool to see. And then this is our real money page. So the entire value of this set rests almost entirely on these three cards, which is just kind of crazy to think. So the Mew EX, big chase card. People love it. I've seen people make full-size rugs just of the pattern from this card. Definitely looks cool. Definitely values being carried by our Oddish over here. Or maybe our Rattata. Maybe that's the Fear Rattata. Just hanging out with Mew like a boss. And we've got our Charizard EX. Just looking crazy. Super gothic, dark obsidian crystals, burning darkness. And we've got our Gardevoir EX. Looking majestic. Looking like she's casting a spell in the middle of a forest. Got a little sleeping Pachirisu, little Wooper kind of hanging out. It's always hard to tell. Sometimes there's a couple other little Pokemon that are just not super obvious initially. That's all I can't really see behind the text there. Is that a Hisuian? No, sorry. That's another, it's a couple Pachirisu right there. I almost look like a Hisuian Zorua, and I was like, that seems a little oddly specific. But that is that for the Paldean Fates Master Set. Appreciate you guys walking through that with us, and we'll see you on the next one.